Rob Lochnow,
Here.
Charlie Manning,
Here.
James Westfall.
Here.
Public comment. At this time, individuals can speak on any topic on the agenda for up to 3 minutes. Time extensions are at the discretion of the village president. No action can be taken on items not listed except as a possible referral to committee, staff, or future board agenda item. Do we have anybody in the room that would like to make a public comment?
I would be delighted to. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
And I submitted an email that,
Did you sign up, Charlie?
and I submitted an email that I suggested the either appended to the minutes. Yeah,
Sure.
you don't have to read. Pierce Ruland is the last.
Okay, because it didn't specifically say, read this, like some of the others, just have that.
Some of my, I think the entry comment, but that's okay. If you append it to the minutes, I think I distributed it here.
Yeah, you said, so the one that we have right here,
That's the one.
you just want it to, add it to the minutes is fine?
Yeah, I'm sure we'll talk
Okay,
about
did you
those
care to
topics.
speak at this time?
Sure, after Charlie, sure.
Okay, Charlie.
Okay, Charlie, here we go. I'm standing, just to say, that the ordinance change for our elections is kind of sprung on us at the last minute, perhaps 2 days' notice. And to that extent, I think there should be some time to consider this ordinance change. And we should consider some time for public comment. I've made a joke that essentially, the 2-year term versus the 3-year term, as the old joke goes, first place gets 1 week paid, all expenses paid in Philadelphia. Second place is 2 weeks, in Philadelphia. And so in that regard, I think it's also necessary for a potential candidate to understand that he may have a 2-year term or alternatively a 3-year term, depending on the election. I'm not so sure that we have enough people that want to have these jobs to scare them away with a 3-year term. That's all I have to say.
Right. Thank you, Charlie. And then, Richard Pierce.
Yeah, as I distributed to the email, to the board members, I'm concerned about the 2 projects, both the golf course expansion and the municipal building. I understand from previous discussions that there is no legal obligation to obtain a vote or a referendum, and perhaps it's premature to go to community for either of those, but these are orders of magnitude of changes both to property, real estate, aesthetics, not to mention finances. And I think you have a wealth of knowledge of what the community has to offer. I think the community also has some opportunity to add to that database of what are the options available. And they may have connections that help us with getting our municipal needs addressed more cost effectively than at least some of the proposals that have been described. My last comment is, please, you cannot over communicate this stuff. Keep it short, keep it bulleted, keep it frequent, keep it accessible, not 250 pages under tab number 17 or get up, of course, but those are the principles: short, bulleted, frequent, and accessible. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody online that would like to speak? I see Susan Greenfield, but I don't see her.
She looks frozen. You okay, Susan?
Yeah, it's wrong.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
frozen.
gotcha. All right.
Okay, I have a couple of letters here that they asked to have read in. And I'll go ahead and I'll read them and if I start to talk.
Hello.
Oh, are you,
Well,
did you?
I keep getting muted. I keep getting a sign that I'm getting muted. so-
Okay, so would you like to, you have a comment?
I do. I do. I was going to be there, but I have a dead battery and I just discovered it 10 minutes ago. So here I go. Okay, Susan Greenfield, 114 Woodfield Court in Wind Point. I'd like to comment tonight on the many issues you're dealing with at this time. But first, I want to thank you, each of you, for your generous service as board members. I know your work on the board takes up a great deal of your personal time, especially now when you are facing so many major issues all at one time. You have a multi-year, multi-million dollar water main replacement project that also includes rebuilding the village road system and entails borrowing a great deal of money that village taxpayers will need to pay back for years to come. You have a long overdue need to address the inadequate village office space, which will likely result in a newly constructed or remodeled village hall or a move into a rented facility. Each option having pros and cons and different costs and possibly requiring yet more borrowing. The board will have to decide on a proposal by a private developer to redesign and build the Shoup Golf Course, which will likely have an impact on the grounds of our beloved Wind Point Lighthouse. Pending is a board decision on the future of the village police services, whether or not to contract with the Village of Caledonia with the goal of reducing our costs and maintaining excellent services. Meanwhile, the village's operating costs are increasing every year, and the village will soon not have enough revenue to properly run the village. Thus, the need to reevaluate the services we do provide and seek an increase in property tax revenue through a referendum. None of these are easy issues, and it's a lot to take on all at one time. You have considerable resources in the Wind Point community, people who can advise you on a communication plan so citizens are well informed, experts in evaluating space and construction requirements, people like Dave Derment and John Rooney who have offered their help evaluating the village office space. You have residents with background, excuse me, lost my place. With background in outsourcing services, you have golfers, landscape designers, negotiators who could advise on the golf course proposal. Today, I'm offering my services as an advisor to the communications committee. Let us in the community help you. Like you, we want to see our village thrive. And thank you again.
Thank you, Susan.
Thanks, Susan.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome.
I echo the thanks to you guys. It's not easy.
Would you like me to read?
Yeah, I
Okay.
just wrote, there's only 3. I wrote on the
Okay.
top to read.
So,
And I'm gonna time you because
okay, Allison's gonna have me read them and.
my
hang out
throat,
just
I
because
don't want to cough.
your throat. So I'll try to do my best. All right, the first one is from Nikki Fisher from 161 Maribor Lane. And it's for public comment. I'm out of town and unable to attend the meeting, but request that the following public comment be read in the record. In your November meeting, I was heartened by the board's agreement to take a step back, consider all potential options to solve the issues with the current village municipal building. I was also encouraged by the suggestion in that meeting that the board consider adding Wind Point residents Dave Derment, John Rooney to the team that is evaluating the options. I understand that both gentlemen have been contacted and agreed to volunteer their time and expertise. I also understand that the board needed to vote to make this happen, and so I expected to see it as an agenda item tonight. I was thus surprised and dismayed to see it was not there. I frankly cannot understand why the board isn't considering taking this action immediately so the process can go forward in the best way possible. Adding Mr. Derment, Mr. Rooney to the evaluation team is critical for 3 reasons. 1, we couldn't ask or afford more qualified help. For over 30 years, Mr. Derment served as professional mechanical engineer for We Energies, where he was responsible for over $1 billion in major construction design and engineering projects. He was also a Village of Wind Point trustee and intimately involved in the evaluation process that took place in 2010, and so is already familiar with many of the issues and options. Mr. Rooney, who has been the Commissioner of Department of Public Works for the City of Racine since 2019, is a registered professional engineer, brings not only engineering and construction expertise, but also expertise with municipal government issues and requirements. Item 2, there is a built-in conflict of interest if the construction and engineering firms are the only ones involved. I'm not suggesting that these firms would act unethically. However, it only stands to reason that they might be at least unconsciously biased towards a building option where there have already been guaranteed the contract to do the design and manage the construction. In addition, since their pay will be a percentage of the construction cost, the more expensive the building, the more money they stand to make. Item 3, the involvement of Wind Point residents will ensure that when the final options are presented, residents will have the confidence in both the process and ultimate recommendation. For months, residents have expressed concern about the lack of detail regarding decision-making process that led to the decision to build a $4.2 million municipal building. When a transparent evaluation process is completed and the pros and cons and costs are presented to residents, they are much more likely to support the recommendation. With upcoming operational referendum, it is important that resident confidence in the board's decisions be enhanced, not further diminished. For these and other reasons, please consider taking action to add Dave Dermett and John Rooney, the facilities evaluation team, and further direct staff to ensure that their role is clear and integral to the work of that team. Thank you, Nikki Fisher, 161 Maryborough Lane. I might pass out by the time I'm done with these. All right. Let's see here. Okay, next one. All right, it is from Jane Dermett. It starts, I will not be able to attend due to medical procedure. Please read into the notes. Thank you, Jane Dermett, 4350 Lighthouse Drive. Village Board, you've heard from over 200 residents that they want to be informed of the estimated costs for major capital investment plans as they are being developed. Too many are unaware. Clearly, once they are informed, they provide input to the board, as you have seen. A campaign of awareness is building is needed to assure that over 700 households are aware. Please email to the residents the attached 10-year Wind Point FMP 2026 CIP 11.1125, a page 3 summary, which now has been posted with Ehlers reports. You could put a one-page narrative on the top with the description of the capital projects and why they are needed. Had this information from the August Ehlers report been emailed to residents, you would have had many more people at the listening sessions and public hearing. We are asking here on behalf of these residents that the board communication practice be enhanced to include regular monthly direct communications, emailed or hard copy mailed to residents, including estimated costs, debt, tax increases, and water rate increases for at least the major capital investments in the full capital improvement plan. Residents need to know what is coming over multiple years, even at an estimated level, to do their own financial planning. Now that we have observed the board's communication practice throughout this year, it's clear that the board does do what is required by Wisconsin statute. As major capital investments are being considered at committee meetings and board meetings, related materials become public record. The agendas and packets of related information, such as cost estimates, RFPs, consultant reports, proposals, etc., are posted to the village website. Then, as required by Wisconsin statute, 15 days before the November public hearing, the proposed budget, including operational and capital, are posted on the website under the budget tab. The November 1 Stroll magazine and the village newsletter then contain a summary of the proposed operational and capital budget for the upcoming fiscal year only. However, observation is that the board and the village administrator intentionally do not, one, provided cost estimates and any direct communications to residents until 15 days before the public hearing, November public hearing and budget approval vote. Item 2, summarize and send directly to residents financial information in writing from key detailed financial reports such as the Ehlers reports. 3, share any cost estimates outside of the approved fiscal budget in direct communication to the residents even after the budget approval. The residents will not accept another year of living with this past intentionally constrained communication practice. Put the information requested in each monthly newsletter starting now. Please reply with your decision. Thank you, Jane Dermett, 4350 Lighthouse Drive. All right, last one. All right, this is from Emily Mueller of 34 Lakewood Drive. It's board term agenda items similar to what Charlie discussed. Dear President McCullough, Administrator Wells, and Wind Point trustees, I am out of town and unable to appear in person for tonight's meeting. I ask that my remarks be read during the public comment portion of your meeting. I apologize for this late submission, but only recently learned that the agenda had been amended to include the proposed ordinance for the extension of board terms. I reviewed the amended agenda for tonight's meeting yesterday. I was surprised to see the new item relating to extending the board terms to 3 years, exercising home rule to set trustee terms that are inconsistent with 2-year terms prescribed by Wisconsin statute. It wasn't on the original agenda. The packet includes proposed ordinance with an adoption date of 2025, signaling that it was drafted to potentially be passed tonight. Frankly, I was appalled to see this last minute decision if the assumption is that it could be passed tonight with little or no public input and such a limited time for the board to consider it. I'm currently retired. Before I went on the bench, I was with a big firm that did a lot of municipal work. So I know that doing a charter ordinance to exercise home rule is a pretty big deal. Indeed, Mount Pleasant Village Board passed such an ordinance in 2022, only to repeal it shortly thereafter when a referendum petition was filed by citizens to vote it down. Mount Pleasant currently have 2-year terms. As far as I can determine, no other village in Racine County has 3-year terms. I believe this, the same is true for Kenosha County. There are a few villages in Milwaukee County that have 3-year terms: Fox Point, Thiensville, and Shorewood, I believe, and some others, but most do not. The general argument against 3-year terms is that it allows trustees to be less responsive to citizen input and less accountable to voters. At this point, 3-year terms are something of an outlier for Wisconsin villages. I would urge you to vote against this ordinance if it's proposed tonight, or at the very least, set this over to another date so that you can carefully consider this as a board and solicit citizen input on the issue. I do understand the argument that there's a learning curve to be on the village board. There are certainly 2 sides to the debate over whether a village board should exercise home rule and not be governed by the Wisconsin statutes that provides for 2-year terms. But I believe that voting tonight on this newly presented ordinance does a disservice to both your responsibility to carefully consider the important matters put before you and to the citizens of this village who deserve to have input on this. Emily Miller, 34 Lakewood Drive. And that's all I.
Thank you. Okay, we have nobody else that wishes to make a comment. The public comment portion of the evening is closed.
The other emails that are attached, just for the record, they're gonna be entered into?
Yeah, they'll be read, they'll be attached.
Just want to make sure, otherwise I would keep reading.
Okay, approval of November 13th, 2025 Village Board and Public Hearing Meeting Minutes. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the November 13th, 2025 Village Board and Public Hearing Meeting.
Who was that?
Carmen.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained. Motion passes. Okay, zoning administrator report, Jeff Sanders. Is he here tonight?
No, that's not.
Everybody get an opportunity to take a peek at it?
We have one thing open, it looks like.
Yeah,
That it opens, closes, and opens like every couple months.
yeah, so, but other than that, there's really nothing going on. Okay, Parks, Recreation, Lighthouse and Facilities Report, Trustee Johnson.
I'll make a
Trustee-
motion to adopt the corp as written in this document.
Okay, I was just going to say Trustee Johnson's not here tonight, so Charlie Manning was going to present it.
I beat you to it.
You did.
Is there anything you would like to present to us, Charlie?
Nothing.
Nothing?
I think Sanders does an outstanding
He does a
job.
great job.
He's quite thorough.
Have y'all had a chance to look at it?
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing terribly, there's,
Were you required to do that every decade or something like that?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we don't,
Decade?
we can't apply for Wisconsin
Right.
grant money.
right, yeah, that's kind of was the big thing.
Yeah.
We did manage it, it was all printed, we managed to fill a tree or two with it, which is kind of ironic.
I'll be a second to Charlie's motion.
There any other discussion? Possible, or have we done?
Do you want any discussion?
I guess, if you,
Yes.
having read it and not been involved in all of the the meetings, and I think it's really well done. I think it's a huge effort.
Incredibly well done.
And I think it is responsive, to all the issues that the village is facing. I guess the biggest concern I have is that it represents a lot of unfunded mandates, if you will, in terms of suppositions as to where things will happen or go in the future. Whether it's development of this thing or another, parks, whether it's trails, whether it's,
What do you find as a mandate? I think that this is the
well,
document.
it's a direction. you
Or
know.
recommendations, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't think we're forced to do anything.
No, and I guess what my point is that bear in mind that it entails a lot of investment too, in many
Oh.
cases. And I think from a prioritization standpoint, if we have all the citizen involvement that we could actually hope for roads and for buildings, we will have to prioritize, obviously.
Well, indeed, I mean, maybe we're a third of the way there, with the widening of 4 Mile with the paths. If you take, the visual preference survey, put paths 3 out of the top 6, maybe 4 out of the top 6. I think that answers a certain thing. I'd like to, Jeff said it was a good representation of our population that responded. It was like 270 respondents. I would have liked to see 570 respondents, but that's the way it goes, but I look forward to, some of what we've seen here over the last 3 months. We have real engagement of our residents in what's going on here. And we have not seen but inkling or just a tiny bit of objection on road widening. For the most part, that's been very positive. I don't know. I don't need to hear myself talk.
No, my only comment was that I think it's very thorough, it's very wide reaching and visionary, but it also has a price tag if you were to implement so many of the things that are included in there. And it's going to require prioritization, of course, and that's what the board is set up to do.
Well, I will tell you this, at least we're not putting in splash pads, right?
If you can get
I think we need a donation for that.
Yeah, and that's, but the fact that we have to adopt this if we want to go for grant money.
Right.
And so I think we're still looking for a second on this.
I say,
No, we have a
No, we
second.
have
Oh, we have a second.
I'm just
Okay,
waiting for a
sorry.
vote, so he wanted to discuss, so. Now, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained, motion passes. Okay, police report.
November was a pretty busy month. We had 217 complaints. You can take a look at the all traffic solutions, the extended speed summary, the 2 sheets. Some things that we've noticed within the last couple of weeks is with the heavy snowfall or the rain or the mixture thereof, it'll block the sensor. So we're gonna have to do some work on when we notice that, because then we won't get the actual data. One of the things I included this month was a new monthly activity overview report that we were able to get with our system. It's still in the works, so but you'll be able to see graphs. You'll be able to see basically a breakdown of time. And then by the photos, you'll see within the time frame of the day, either from midnight to 8 a.m., 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and then 4 p.m. till midnight. So we can break it down to see when the most activity is occurring. Obviously, when we're here in the evenings primarily, that's when you're going to see the most complaints, but you'll see that some of those complaints do come in through the day. The second one is the actual activity arrest report. So you'll see a breakdown in the graph as far as how many arrests were made. So you'll see it's got some work to do, but you'll see a breakdown between the felony and the misdemeanor arrests. And then you got the citations of note, and I sent it out to the board, but I think it's worth noting at every single meeting that we have when something like this comes up. A traffic stop was conducted in the village, which resulted in one of the highest drug seizures in Wind Point Police Department history. That total was 72 individually packaged bundles, which contained heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl. This was a person that was already out on parole for those same offenses, along with maintaining a drug trafficking place, which was his residence. So he was taken into custody and he's on a probation hold along with 7 charges, 6 of them being felonies.
Keep the question aside, reporting suspicious behavior, is there anything that you would add to the community to help your services to be effective in what you're trying to do?
Especially this time around, this time of year, exterior cameras, exterior lights, motion lights, lock your car doors, lock your doors at home, keep your garage door shut. They call us.
Yeah. Thanks.
Chief,
Yeah.
may I ask you a question? Or do you-
Oh, go ahead. I have a question too.
Oh, go ahead.
We might have the same question.
I'll defer to you.
On the radio and telephone calls.
Yeah.
So explain to me the difference. Is the telephone or people in Wind Point calling in, and the radio are things that you're getting over, say, from dispatch?
Correct. So you'll see, so radio is an officer initiated call, either it be a building check or a traffic stop. See the telephone, that is strictly through Racine County Dispatch. That's not residents calling into the PD phone, which is then routed to the officer who has the squad phone. So you won't see that. You won't be able to log that. That'll come up as a radio because then we punch that ourselves over
Okay.
the radio.
Is that your question too?
No, I was told you.
Okay,
Slightly different.
Just
Thing,
curious.
though, using the material that you've got, the monthly overview. I think it's gonna be very helpful to be able to see this over time, longitudinally to see, but also cumulatively to understand. Is there an increase or not, or is the complexion of the type of problem changing, like, felony versus non-felony kind of misdemeanor problems? I think understanding that and what the police department is providing in terms of the services, keeping the community safe. I think that just, the monthly information is there. That's great. It sits there. But it requires you to either put it together or now it's in a graphical form. I'm
Right.
sure it's going to become easier to maybe track that longitudinally. I'm just encouraging, because I think there's a lot more there in the information.
Right.
I think we have serious issues. All communities do. The fact that the drug bust was, of the magnitude and significance, is alarming. And I don't think those issues are going away. And I think we need to communicate that to the community as well, as efficiently as possible. And maybe this, and you said the information is kind of like, it's cobbled up from different sources. And that's one of the issues or one of the problems. Anything that can be done to bring clarity to that and unconfuse it, but make it very, presentable and understandable and repeatable in terms of, the methodology doesn't change, the reporting would be, fairly consistent so that you could track it over time and say,
Right.
yeah, here, it looks, here's what's going on.
Right.
You can put your finger on it. You have your finger on it. I understand that, but I'm just saying how it's presented, how it's communicated.
Sure.
That would be very helpful in my mind.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, it's my turn, I guess. A couple things. We had the wreath lighting on the 30th, and it was a huge success. Over 50 people RSVP'd and showed up. I left just as people were getting here because I had a terrible cough and I did not want to be in here coughing on people. But from what I understand, everybody had a great time. Santa was here, Caledonia delivered them. Like I said, it was a huge success and the kids loved decorating the cookies, more so than making decorations. I wanted to thank everyone who attended and a huge thank you to our volunteers and the Caledonia Fire Department who made it all happen. I'm sure you're going to see a few pictures in the January e-news and in the January Stroll magazine. Next event for the Wind Point Community Club and Stroll magazine, because they partner with us, is the Easter egg hunt, and we can always use volunteers for these events. Please feel free to contact me if you'd like to sign up and help with any of these. We had the Racine County Inter-County Community Meeting. I can never get the RCICC letters correct. Meeting last week, and I have the minutes. That's another meeting I did not attend because I was sick. But there is a Discover Wisconsin episode featuring Racine County. If you want to watch it, it's on YouTube, and we can post the link on the website. You think?
Yeah.
Are you're not gonna play right now, are you?
No.
Okay.
It's
But it does have a nice shot of the lighthouse. I haven't seen the whole thing. I just saw an intro to it. A couple of things, the innovation grant is now open, so this is where you can work with other municipalities to help reduce your cost by joining on utilizing, I don't know, each other. But we looked into it with our police department. At the time, it was not cost effective for us to farm out our police department. But that's an opportunity, maybe for something in the future. Something that the overdose data, this kind of stood out to me, is that every single community within Racine County has experienced an overdose. And I think we're just talking any type of overdose. This is when we're talking about it. So even here in Wind Point,
Overdose death,
uh,
with
drug
overdose.
overdose, most likely fentanyl.
With death, though, is what I mean.
The way they're counted is an overdose.
It's,
Doesn't matter death or not.
Okay.
this was just
All included.
information that, like I said, I didn't attend, the meeting, but, one of the points that they made is that every single community has experienced an overdose. And if it's not referenced whether or not there was death involved. Okay, that's all I have here, but I do have one more little thing to honor our police chief,
Every year we do a yearly recognition of an employee,
because we love you.
and so this year, the police chief has done the yearly recognition, so.
Isn't and he's better at this than me. I'm terrible at reading things too, but we would like to take a moment to honor our police chief if you want to pop out.
Usually I'm pretty good at being suspicious of something, so it's
Yeah.
coming.
Well,
really?
we're pretty good at hiding things. I have to, where do you want to do this? In front of, over here?
Wherever works.
You got more room over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a little more room. Okay, the Village of Wind Point proclamation honoring Chief Tommy Sherritt. Whereas Chief Tommy Sherritt has been a committed and respected leader of the Wind Point Police Department for many years, dedicating his career to the safety, security, and well-being of the residents of the Village of Wind Point. And whereas throughout his service, Chief Sherritt has demonstrated exceptional leadership, professionalism, integrity, and dedication to community-oriented policing, consistently going above and beyond to protect and serve our community. And whereas Chief Sherritt has worked tirelessly to foster strong relationships between law enforcement and residents, emphasizing transparency, trust, and responsiveness, and always prioritizing the needs and concerns of the community. And whereas Chief Sherritt has earned the admiration and respect of his fellow officers, village staff, elected officials, and the public through his unwavering commitment to public safety, emergency preparedness, and leadership. And whereas his leadership and his team have positively impacted countless individuals and have contributed to making the Village of Wind Point a safer community. And now, therefore, the village board, staff, and the residents of Wind Point do hereby proclaim December 11th, 2025 as a celebration of Police Chief Tommy Sherritt and his many years of service as chief and officer. We extend our deepest gratitude for his hard work, continued service, dedication, and commitment to our community. Allison McCullough, Village President, and Travis Wells, Village Administrator. Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you. You get a prize for that.
Right, thank you.
Yeah, you guys gotta turn.
Thanks.
Because I love you.
It goes to my team.
He knows that.
Thank
You
you.
guys gotta turn, you guys gonna turn around.
Oh, okay. Well, you get the medal, honey. We'll do a chief sandwich.
I got three, so
Okay.
hopefully your eyes are open.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Speech? Speech?
It goes to my team. That's all I gotta say.
All right.
You guys got it.
Dropping paper this time.
It's surprise.
We have to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay. Do I have a motion?
Dale said no.
Riley's got names. Yeah.
I will make a motion, in support of December 11, 2025, honoring Chief Tommy Sherritt, and, our village proclamation. Uncle that, but pretty good.
I'll second that.
Kind of after the fact, isn't it?
Yeah, well. It would ruin the surprise.
Well, it would.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? Motion passes. It's official. Okay, and now we will hear from the administrator.
Just a couple of things before we get into the action items here. Taxes are out, tax season's going good. Lots of people coming in. We have candy canes to offer to people who stop in and pay their taxes, and has a little reminder to sign up for e-alerts and some other pamphlets about things going on in the village. And there's also important election dates on there, so that's out there. And the couple of things, the building, no new update as we've happened to a lot of input on that, but they're working on all the things that you have recommended and hope to get back to us in the coming weeks. It takes a while. There's no fast turnaround on the items. There's a lot of items we've listed. We're working digitally on that to get another update, hopefully in January. So GFOA, we've submitted the budget to them to be reviewed and hopefully approved. That's all been submitted to them. And I think that's it. And then the next couple of things, I guess, on the agenda are the every 2 years, the odd years, you have to approve the election inspectors. And they're 2 terms. And the Racine County Democratic Party submitted 1 new nomination for election inspectors by the deadline of the end of November. And the Racine County Republican Party submitted 2 or 3 new nominations for election inspectors for the Village of Wood Point. The list there is solid. Everything's correct and ready to go with approval.
You need a motion.
Yep.
The motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the appointment of the election inspector for the 2026, 2027.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And motion passes.
Just a referendum update. We've been meeting with Ellers and Miller Communication on the ongoing stuff for the village to start preparing. A lot of field work has been done. So thank you to Chief and his team for getting some data to us, and the office staff has been compiling a lot of data. So thank you to Monica and Hannah and I have all been just kind of working together to get a lot of this data for them to get some information rolling to us. Right now, we're gearing for a resolution to be on the ballot of how you want it to look. By about springtime would be the deadline on that, so we'll have that drafted with help from Miller and Ellers on this. And then we're continuing to look at it as a public safety referendum. If there's any questions on that, feel free to reach out, but I think that's the way we've been recommended to go on that route. But that will come as part of the discussion once we get moving on the language and the terminology on that, how it will fit on the ballot. So that's kind of where we're at, still very early on, like 5% there. So that's the only update. Any questions? Reach
Yeah,
out.
I just one comment and a question. First comment is, I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I've had several calls about Wind Point property taxes. I thought it was wonderful that you have the little dollar bill on the candy canes to explain to people who can't read their tax bill that our taxes have actually gone down.
Yeah, we
Good piece.
Well, it's up $461. You know, and I'll just use mine for example. Mine were up $40. So I'm 10%, it's
not
not 10%, but it's
everything else.
it's everything else. Go ahead.
And
That's exactly the point on the little dollar bill.
Yeah.
It said,
Yeah.
hey, it's not the village.
Correct.
And thank you for not saying it's not the village stupid. Because I've had to explain that to several people. I said, hey, look, it's the referendum for schools that really drove it up. So thank you, good piece.
Well, can I make a point on that? I meant to say in my update, one of the things that the RCICC is doing is they're going to our legislators and they're asking them to take the
unified portion off of the tax bills and make unified tax them, send the bills out themselves. Because it doesn't just affect us, it affects Milwaukee and affects all of it. Anybody who's got a school district that's done these huge referendums, it affects their tax bills and how people read them.
Well, they
And-
don't read them.
Well, that's the problem. I mean, my tax bill, $700 of my tax bill increase was unified. And
That's the way that goes. Now, to that point though, just, it was well done on the dollar bill and then the other dollar bill on the annual report and explaining that it ain't us. So we all appreciate that who get these calls. Anybody else get calls on taxes? Yeah.
They can explain that, you know, most of it's received unified, their levy rate is on the equalized value, it's not on the assessed value, so it doesn't even, the assessment doesn't even count for them. It's the equalized value.
Now, my question is, on the referendum, public safety, so we attribute some of our costs to, police and to a certain extent, public works and to a certain extent, fire protection, and that's the approach for the referendum.
That's kind of that route, but we're tying it within the innovation grant that we applied for and using that data to help back up the data that we collected through that. And then that's the approach that Miller has offered, that they've seen a successful rate in approvals going referendum route of public safety versus operational.
And so what's their batting average on these referenda? Did you discuss that?
I can send out an email to the board. I've got data on that I don't have off the top of my head, but I've got data that we've collected from the communities that have gone out last year, I believe, so.
It'd be interesting to me.
And they're similar to ours, in that perspective.
Okay. Well, I am.
Then going on to the ordinance, it is a charter ordinance. This was drafted by attorney back in, a while ago, about beginning of fall. He was reached out to on conversational, piece on this, just to see where other communities stand, and he did some research and, said that we have the, right to change our election cycles, to be a little bit more, spread out so that we don't lose half of our board in a given year. So there's that piece that he gave our background on. He wanted us to bring it to the full board and get a discussion on that. And, you know, if it's 2/3 majority has to agree on it. If not, then we just move on. So it was just something we did research on and a recommendation to see if there's interest in doing this.
Has it been reviewed anywhere else? This is it?
no, this is the first time.
Right.
As soon as I saw that yesterday, the first phone call I made was to Travis. And he did remind me that one of my complaints is that every 2 years, we have the potential of losing half the board. Okay? I've always said we should have staggered terms. Now, the 3-year thing, that's a whole different. But I personally would like to see us go to 2 people up for reelection every year, so that you're not losing such a large part of your board. I don't know if you're into the 3-year, there are communities, I was looking at that, there's communities that have gone to it. And yes, Mount Pleasant wanted to do that and they got a lot of pushback, so they're back at 2 years. But I don't know, I think we don't have to vote on anything tonight, but I think it's something we should think about, consider that maybe, and it's too late for this election cycle anyways, but maybe we should think about this for continuity. And the history that the board members have, that maybe only have 2 people up for reelection every year rather than 3. That's, you know.
To that point, I do not disagree with you. But I will make a motion to set this aside and postpone both discussion and a vote until our March meeting. I think that this was a big surprise. And
Well, I think like you said, he got it back, so he threw it in.
I'm sorry, what?
Travis said he just got it back from the attorney, so.
I understand,
So-
I understand, but it was still a surprise. And I don't think that the board or the public have had much chance to discuss this and think about it. You know, this is a kind of a big change, right? And it's kind of a home rule thing. We have the right to do it. But I think that I would like to, like a cow, ruminate on it for a month, kick it around and let the residents take a look at this and see if they think it's right for the village. And those are the guys I represent. So I would make a motion for set aside postponement until the March meeting.
I just want to clarify too that this term wouldn't start until 2027.
That's clear.
I just wanted to make sure people read that, and
You know,
some communities are looking at even doing 4 years. There's a couple of communities that are actually pushing to do that, and then their village presidents on their own completely. So there's a lot of
So-
communities looking at these options, so just want to let you know.
so I've been on the village boards soon to close out 4 years and been through 3 administrators. And we've had elections where we didn't have enough people sign up. We've added Herb, myself, and Jim because of those issues. And thankfully, you all stepped up to fill the void, fill the gap. And I can tell you when people drop off, if you don't know those former people, okay, and you don't have a relationship with them, you know, you're not sitting there top of mind going, hey, I should call so-and-so who used to be on PFIC or so-and-so who used to be on this or whatever. And, you know, and especially if you have turnover in the office like we did, you know, you're trying to figure out if you're on foot or horseback, you know, for that first year like we were. And, you know, luckily we've hit some home runs with the staff we have currently, but there's gonna be turnover somewhere in the future. And if you can have continuity on the board, meaning longer terms, I think that makes a lot of sense because you still have 4 people plus a village president, depending upon the year, that can help sort of with, here's how we do things, you know, they're in the subcommittee meetings. So I'm for it. To Emily Mueller's email to us, even though she was against it, it was interesting that the municipalities that she listed are all but as close to us in demographics as you're gonna get. They're all upper income locations, just like we are. They're aging municipalities like we are. So to me, even though she was against it, sort of struck a chord like, hey, that's why I'm sort of for it. We aren't getting the older folks who are jumping on, you jump back in, but not a lot are jumping back in. Well, I guess we'll find out this election year. And I'm not heck bent on doing it tonight, but that's the logic I'm living with, is that, you know, trying to add somebody midterm, you know, people aren't running, you know, leaving some talent. I mean, the day's gonna come where these folks leave.
Hmm.
And at least the people at the table, if there's 2/3 of us, or whoever those 2/3 are there with some experience, they can help those people come up to speed. If you're trying to bring on new employees, and new staff and bring on, you know, like I ran into, you don't know what you're doing half the time. And you can be the smartest person in the room and you still don't know government. And you don't know the government budgets, you don't know the dates. I mean, thank goodness, Mike Hawes put together a book. I said in Public Works last time, we need Scott to put together a book. He doesn't have the time. We probably need to have somebody come and put together a DPW book. So that can get passed on to the next iteration of DPW book. Long story short, I'm fine with kicking it down the road, but that's why I'm for it.
Yeah, let's, to your point, and to your point, I agree with you wholeheartedly. But we do owe our residents a chance to speak up on this. We do owe it to ourselves to think about it. And from the standpoint of people, and let's just say, you know, I don't know what we make here a year, but it ain't much. We're essentially volunteers.
I totally agree with it.
And to that extent, it would be nice to know if I was going to volunteer, whether I'm in for a 2-year sentence or a 3-year sentence. And it's not funny.
Well, see, to my point, now you're gonna drive people away from the want to run.
I would ask the
Yeah.
question, what would Allison propose, does that not solve the solution without having to change, like rolling over only two board seats a year? each cycle, does that not limit the turnover, right?
But that, you only get 4,
Yeah, you go.
so, yeah.
I guess maybe the math doesn't work. on that.
Yeah.
Well, and,
Remember, you
you know,
gotta multiply by 3. So there's 3.
One of the things that, when you come on the board, for some, I know, and for others, some people jump in both feet right off the bat. You know, and totally get everything. Others are a little bit slower. I observed a lot before I got, vocal, I guess I should say. So, and understanding how everything worked. So I don't think that unless you've done this before, I think when you come on the board, there is a learning curve.
I think so.
And
Absolutely true.
for the most part, I think it's at least 6 months. And so there goes, a quarter of a 2-year term right there. So, I mean, I'm not averse to 3-year terms. I just don't know how hard that would be to get people to go, yeah, I'll do 3 years. But,
Well, they don't know if they're gonna do 3 years.
Well, we would have passed it by the time they'll know.
well,
No,
even
but
with,
the winner gets 3 years.
Well, you would have to make that clear in the paperwork when they.
right,
yeah.
and I sat and I worked it out on
They would.
paper because I'm kind of visual with that, and I looked at it and I'm like, okay, so it would be literally not till like 29 or 30 where you'd actually be on that complete 3-year cycle. It just takes time.
Couldn't you have silent attendance for those that have won, so to speak? You don't have to solve it tonight, of course, you don't have to, but silent attendance, hey, I won, I'm gonna be on your board, I'm gonna attend here for the 3 months before I actually start and you drop off or somebody drops off. That might help with some of the transition, because you're right, you don't want a voltage drop. But a silent attendant of the winner.
Can you delay the swearing in of people on that election? No, you can't.
Well, they get elected at the beginning of April and they get sworn in 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I
There's not
know.
that much
Yeah,
time.
so they're,
Could they attend before, non-voting?
they should. You
They
can-
should,
non-voting,
absolutely.
yeah.
I
But-
recommend to everybody who ever
Yeah.
shows an interest in being
No.
in the board is to go to attend all the meetings
Yeah.
virtually, just show up and watch, observe.
For a couple
I mean,
months.
technically, we're not supposed to even have a conversation with you,
I'm
so you
sorry.
know, that's okay.
I'm not here.
If we had a room full of people. I would
So
be
I'll,
angry.
I'll second Charlie's, just because I'm fine giving it time and more feedback, and I'm still gonna fall on the side of.
You're gonna ruminate with the.
I feel like some more discussion.
Yeah, well, I
We'll put it in the crock
agree.
pot for 120 days. But any other discussion? Oh,
Yes.
Go ahead.
I just want to say, this is a great lesson in municipal government because this ordinance is the first way this issue is brought before the board, is it not?
Correct,
This is the process.
correct.
And it causes outrage and all kinds of concern that it's some sort of a slam dunk or there's some sort of evil purpose behind it. And, I find it interesting because of the open records, there cannot be any discussion other than this discussion. And yet we're tabling the discussion as soon as it's brought up because someone feels uncomfortable or a number of people feel uncomfortable. We can discuss this for an hour and I think really make some progress. We don't need to. But I do believe it's a good idea. And I just wanted to say that, and I want to support the effort. I don't think the 2 people, instead of 3, it doesn't work.
Well, and-
You need some sort of mechanism like this.
Yeah, no,
That staggers
I
it.
go, because when I first came on, my biggest complaint was that we lose half the board every 2
It's a fact.
years.
And it's bad.
And you're right, 2 years really isn't long enough but for some people, it's too long. So it's not like you can choose to run for a 2-year term or a 3-year term.
By the
You're gonna
end
have to
of-
have one or the other.
By the end of this
But
term,
I believe the staggered terms is really important because you're losing half the people.
Right.
And that was my biggest
But
complaint.
that's the whole gist of.
and that's where I'm
Right.
coming
This
from.
is.
Right, exactly.
And my experience is I did fill in as a volunteer and was, appointed to the board and then I was elected. And it will be 3 years by the time this next election comes. And that's a good chunk of time. I, in my own mind, think that's the right amount of time. And I'm just trying to voice support for something that I think is well thought out and brought forward in good faith, not as a conspiracy. And so I commend that. And that this is the democratic process and we should have a discussion.
I'm happy to retract my motion. And we can have that discussion tonight, but I think we'll have more thoughtful responses if we can all think about it. And I was surprised by it.
I am too. Isn't government surprising?
But
Isn't reality surprising? I'm not
sometimes it's
shocked at all.
disappointing.
Yeah.
Other times it's a birthday party.
But-
I'm happy.
I don't think this requires us to vote on it now. I just wanted to have.
That's all I have to say.
My 5 cents before we either shut it down or
But,
postpone.
but wait a minute, you were willing to retread. I'm gonna guess, I don't wanna put words in your mouth. I think you understand the math. I understand the math, you understand the math. So if we're to the point where it's 4, this could get, even if we voted it in tonight, and I'm not forcing that, but let's say we did it. Then the public says, hey, pull it back, then we can pull it back. It doesn't go into effect until 2027. But we can leave it and just say, Travis can add it to, again, hypothetically, I'm just talking, add it to, like the January news and say, hey, this was brought up in front of the board. This is the logic that was discussed behind it. And there you go.
This is our job.
This is our job. And
I don't take that lightly. And I'm insulted by accusations, quite frankly, that there's some sort of, process that's ill-intended here.
I know it's not my influence.
I have never worked with a better group of people in the 4 years I've been on here.
You should get out more.
Yeah. well, I should have kept my day job. No, I didn't. But again, you don't become a fully functioning person until you've been here a few years. So to run for 2 and then get off, you haven't even learned anything, you haven't even contributed to this village. So I think you should run for a second. That's just my opinion. In this case, if it became 3, you could be on long enough, get up to speed, and then, hey, I'm done. I'll pass the torch on to somebody else. But at least 3 years. So to the point of Emily's, you're not responsive. Like you said, we're volunteers, basically. I mean, and you're right, Herb. When I hear people say to me, like, we've got side deals going on, give me a break. I spent time, take care of my dog. I can't even talk to you people outside of this. And yet everybody who questions us can go over to all their friends' houses and 6 of them can be in the driveway because they're driven by houses, Facebook, and they get more done than we do because otherwise we're outside of state statutes. So people think we're not doing our job or doing something behind. Give me a break. We don't have the time to get to it because we have to then have 10 times the meetings because we have quorums and things like that. So I'm with you on that. I know
I was
that was a
surprised.
sign off. I apologize.
I was surprised, not shocked. And actually, in the amount of time I've had to think about it, I think it's a good idea. But that's my point of view.
Is Linda online or she's?
She is, no, she's not. She's
out.
indisposed to that.
I love the democratic process.
Roughing for one, which is even worse.
Been there.
I can't tell you how many times we've had Freedom of Information Act stuff too. Like we're doing something wrong. I just drives me about.
I don't think we're doing anything wrong.
We check with the attorney every time we think there's something in the gray area. So
Hold on a
we
second. Listen,
Anyway,
I
that's not the
believe-
topic.
I believe that I was surprised by it. I want some more time to think on it. I got, it's always nice to sleep on something. I slept on it once and I'm still unsure this morning. So let's give it a little time.
I think it's good PR.
That's fine. We can put it out.
I agree, and, we've had enough feedback from our residents indicating that they would like more information on it. And
Well, I think you'd make a great little article for the January e-news.
I'll get ready for that January. It's gonna
It's gonna be a long one.
20 pages long.
Well,
I think.
They say we're not giving them enough
Today
information.
to scroll, so I guess you can pull it back.
We can ask
Does
tomorrow.
anybody happen to know when we stopped getting, and I've been out here 23 plus years, when we stopped getting was it quarterly or monthly mailer? Because we've got so many people saying to us, we want to, at one hand, everyone wants technology, then it's, oh, you guys got rid of that. No, this board didn't get rid of
No,
that.
Susan Snobbery was president at that time.
What was she?
I wasn't on the board.
Yeah.
That was before I ever came
I
on
was on the
board.
board then.
And so, we can't win for losing, just to your point, only 270 people did something with the parks. So and 400 people signed the Deepwood thing, and just over 200 signed the building. So you're just not gonna get more than 400 people, whether you mail it, drop it off. You know, I was in and staff said somebody came in complaining about their taxes, okay? But the person let them in, said they let them in. But then we're shocked they didn't get it in the mail supposedly. Wait a minute, you let the guy in, you got all the mailers, you had to make the phone call to set the appointment, and then supposedly you didn't get the mail. That's possible. But then they sent the second mailer out. So it's like, we can do whatever we want to do, 10 days till Sunday, be it electronic or paper. And people are still gonna complain we're not doing enough.
Well, I think when you have projects like we have,
I get it.
we should have an open meeting beforehand. This is the need. These are the financial impacts. These are the options, not in that order. And I think that's. the way it should be.
We're way off topic.
Yeah,
Where we
we're
started.
getting off topic here,
Well,
so.
but to that extent, one of the things we've seen is a level of engagement. And that I would look for a level of engagement for our residents to talk about this ordinance. The level of engagement is important in terms of community, social capital. It makes people, even if they hate, it's all about hating Charlie Manning. Well, that does bond them together, right? I mean, this goes, I'm very serious about that.
Yeah.
This goes back to, one of my mentors. I wish I knew the guy, Robert Putnam, in terms of his definition of social capital and his ability to, our ability to bond and bridge. Right? So.
Yeah. So I gave you
Let's give him a chance.
I gave you a second, I'm kicking it down the road, but, yeah, so that's where we're
So
at.
do we need to make a motion to table this? Or,
There's already a motion to.
The motion I gave a
I
second.
just need a vote in a second.
okay, all in favor?
All right.
Opposed? Abstain. Okay, so motion passes to table this. And
Get it on.
that was Charlie's motion and Rob's second. Okay, Rob, you want to do the?
All right. I'm gonna make a motion that we consent and receive the following items: the village and utility financial reports November 2025. Court reports, November 2025, police reports, November 2025, fire and EMS reports, November 2025, and building permit reports, November 2025. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain. Motion passes.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, meeting is adjourned at 6:03.
Who owns this ferry?
Hey, well, I'm-